It is Monday night. We're doing the damn thing. Coming off UFC 276. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cageside Live. I'm Eddie Law. That is Alex Mahunin. That is Gabriel Gonzalez. And first of all, both of you were handling duties over in Vegas on International Fight Week. I'll start out here with Gabriel. What was your overall feel the entire week? I know it was exhausting. You were all over the place, pulling long hours. But what was the feel from what ended up being a pretty eventful week for you?
Look, bro, I started fight night at 9 a.m. and I left at about 12:30. So let me you count that up and you tell me. That's my feeling. No, you know what? Like we are post-COVID. I don't know. I know it's still a thing, but honestly, that's the only thing I could think of. Just everywhere you went, there was more. It felt like there were a lot of fans at the presser. I wasn't at the Friday one. I'm assuming it was Alex. The way, media day had more media. It was easily, I remember doing the Conor McGregor fight right before COVID, and that one, how many media we had. This was the most media for a UFC event I've seen since that. And that's going through MSG, Jacksonville, all the Vegas ones, Conor Poirier 3. This was easily the most media I've seen, the most people. So you just felt that electricity for sure.
And it's something I've been missing from UFC events. So lack of crowds at the Apex, obviously. All the fighters talk about, I want to fight in front of a crowd. So that, honestly, like, just from outside in, it just looked like it was almost like you said, like a return to normal. And it seemed to be pretty well received, too.
No, for sure. I think that the fans, look, Saturday probably didn't play out quite as epically as people expected. But I know going in, just walking up, I felt the buzz for sure. And I felt it all weekend. With the convention and everything, fans are just excited to see their favorites and excited to get that interaction. So you felt it.
Yeah, and Alex being the Vegas local now, what was your feel from the city perspective as far as like we're back? We're back and no mask. We're taking all the restraints off. Just come in and do your thing.
Well, I don't live by this. I live like 12 minutes away from the strip, but I don't go to the strip, so I don't really know. But with me going down to like T-Mobile, people were out, people were having fun. I did go to UFC X Saturday, and it was popping, it was crowded. The UFC, from what I've heard, the organization for UFC X was very lackluster, and it was people were waiting in long lines and not getting autographs. So but
I think they just underestimated it, to be honest. I think they needed a bigger room. They needed just more signings so more people could get stuff, even if you didn't get the superstars. I think that's all. But I know that they kind of wanted it to be a little smaller to be so that organic meetings could happen. You feel like, hey, you can meet people and all that, but it still was organized. And I think they just underestimated post-COVID how much love they were going to get, because the number I was hearing was over like 14K tickets sold. I don't know if it was for one day or overall, but for I can't think of a comparable like venue, but think about that. You need quite a lot of space to accommodate that many people. Like Comic-Con light.
Okay, that actually puts it in perspective quite a bit. All right, so then after the event on Saturday, we'll talk about the fights over here in just a hot second here, folks. So hang on. But UFC Invitational 2. I forgot that was happening. And then when you told us that you were covering it, and I was like, oh, shit, I tuned in. It actually was a lot of fun to watch. It reminded, and funny enough, Eddie Bravo was there, but it reminded me of a ABI type of feel. What was that like just coming off the fights?
I mean, you could feel like the after party. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, it's like, okay, the party's over, but now it's just the guys chilling, and it's like we're just kind of here until we just are ready to go home, but we know the party's over. Look, the guys clearly look. They got their sleep. They weren't out all night before the competition. It was actually pretty good. I'm gonna butcher his last name. Daniel Manasu, the big guy for Pettis team. Yeah, he just, I'll be honest, like he was so much bigger than half the guys he got by the rotation matched up with. He was fun to watch. Just he was like, you've seen Creed 2, Drago's son, just
Yeah.
jujitsu. That's what he was so nonchalant about it. So look, you got we were up close. It was a good competition. I think some of the matches went a little long. You want to see things pop. You want to see more subs, but it was actually well paced for the amount of time, I thought.
No, 100%. And I think my favorite of the night, and I got a young one, so I didn't get to stay up the whole night watching it. But the Andre Feely getting tapped with a north-south choke, that doesn't happen very often. That was pretty dope.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember it surprised all of us. I was on the opposite angle, so I couldn't see how deep it was, and then it was like, what? It was crazy.
When you get that, and you have to like literally slowly inch your way down to make it tighter. And he was moving, but he wasn't moving that much. And so when he tapped, I was like, oh shit, that ended up being tight. But all right, so let's talk UFC 276. Happened on Saturday night, main event for the middleweight title. Israel Adesanya against Jared Cannonier. Off the bat, starting here with Alex, a lot of people are labeling it boring. Did you find the fight lackluster?
Yeah, it was just uneventful. And it kind of sucks because like it was like this pay-per-view was stacked top to bottom, and it was just like it was a huge week. It felt epic, and it was just kind of like it was just lackluster. It was very uneventful, but you can't blame anybody. Like Izzy is a counter striker, and Jared Cannonier was not coming forward. Like he was just, I don't understand what the game plan was at all. I think it's when people get in the cage with Izzy, they fucking freeze. They're like, oh shit. Like, how am I going to figure this puzzle out? And they can't, man. He's on another level from these guys, and it's a shame because we all know how talented he is, how exciting he is, but like I saw someone tweet like, he's not going to be able to break through to like the NFL audience, the NBA audience, the big sports audience with these kind of boring performances, which is a shame because he's got it all.
I mean, he could be, and he is one of the more exciting fighters when he gets a willing dance partner. But you're right, like Jared was not trying to come forward, right? And Gabriel, we kind of expected him to come forward and try to take Izzy's head off. I think it's what made this fight more exciting. Is all right, cool. How's Izzy going to handle the killer gorilla coming in and trying to knock us in the block off? It didn't happen. Did you find the fight to be a little lackluster?
I mean, on a scale of Izzy versus Romero to Gaethje versus Chandler, it was somewhere, it was closer to the latter, unfortunately. Right. That being said, we kind of gotten to know this. When Izzy has someone who comes at him with high volume, he does fight better. Why? Because he knows he has to win the fight. He has to throw more volume so he's not losing rounds on points. And when you get reckless, like, leave openings like Whitaker did the first time, like Paulo Costa, it gets crazy and you get just how good Izzy can be. When you have someone more conservative like Yoel, like Vettori to an extent, like Cannonier did on Saturday, he's not really out there taking risks. He's staying ahead, but it's a very lather, rinse, repeat kind of fight. And yeah, it's not going to go down in the annals of UFC lore and all that. But once again, this is the level that Izzy is at. And I know it's not fun, but it is on the Jareds and the other guys of the world to catch up to him. It's not up to him to make it more exciting. He's the one with everything to lose. He's the one who loses half his money, and all that when he's already winning if he takes risks. So I definitely get that. But I think it's also case by case. We've seen when guys come at him, Izzy will be more exciting. If you're more conservative, it's not on him to take the risk.
You're 100% on point on that. Now, Alex, he's about to get what we assume is going to be a willing dance partner. All signs point to Alex Pereira. In fact, Izzy wants it. That dude's not going to be. He's not going to be Jared Cannonier. He's from you can see from first of all from Strickland parrying the shots to the body. You knew that left hook was going to be there because he was doing just petting the shit. Now no head movement, nothing. He set himself up sort of got knocked out. What do you see as far as Adesanya Pereira fight coming up probably in the next few months?
I hope they turn they turn them around and book them quick because Izzy took minimal damage, Pereira took no damage, and there's a story there they can tell it, and like they don't have to hype it for like 6 months because Alex doesn't speak English, right? So like there's that aspect of it that's like not going to make it like Paulo Costa Izzy, right? Where there's a lot of trash talk. But there's a very, 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 very cool story there. And it's just like Alex Pereira has been hunting Izzy, man, and it's like he's just been taking these guys out and it's there. Like the story's there. As for the fight, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because this isn't kickboxing. So and I don't know. Because Alex Pereira is still relatively brand new to mixed martial arts. So I don't know if he's going to be aggressive, if he's going to be like technical like Izzy, because they're both very technical. They're world-class kickboxers. I don't know how the fight's going to go. And that's what is so fascinating behind it because Alex has 2 wins over Izzy. He knocked him out. He's the last dude to knock Izzy out. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I am kind of bummed that Strickland lost because he stole the show. He stole the show.
The anarchy we would get if he fought for the title.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. He stole the show at the press conference, right? But like that's cool. You can do all that, but you got to win, right? And I feel like his stock took a little hit, but if he goes out there and beats a couple more contenders, he's right back. And I think whenever they can put him on a press conference, you better do it because he was fucking gold.
That was great. And Gabriel, you were there for the presser.
I might have remembered what happened.
What did you think when all that went down? Because you asked a question, dude, and that set him off.
I always remind people of this: is that the presser is not the place for hard-hitting journalism. The UFC essentially asks us to be part of their PR event that promotes the fight, which I don't have a problem with. I'm already there. Why not? So I told myself, okay, my thing is always what will probably get a really pumped up answer from one of the guys, or if I already know there's beef, what kind of will turn one to get them to react to the other. And with Strickland, I was like, well, you know what? You kind of got a win-win right there, no matter what he says. So it's like, just toss him the softball. And well, you saw what happened. And, it was just like, okay, like what? We already know they're not cool with each other. So it's like, well, would you guys like to say something? And, just let them get out of the way. No, it was fantastic. Back to Alex's point, I think that there would be scenes. Exactly how does the UFC promote an essentially unpromotable guy, a guy that you can't have talk to anybody for fear of losing sponsorship? Right. I think that the UFC is slightly relieved that they don't have to deal with that, but at the same time, we also like a little bit of madness. Mm-hmm. And then back to Alex Pereira, I think that what's a good way to put it? I think it is a little weird because they're both so technical. They're both counter strikers. Right. So it's going to not be big movements. I think it's actually going to be the little things that win that fight. To his credit, though, Alex Pereira, I like what he's doing. I like that he's not trying to talk a lot. I think it makes him more enigmatic. The fact that he doesn't speak English, and even when we translate it from Portuguese, he doesn't say much. And then not for nothing, I think he's the only guy since Conor that we still talk about that Game of Thrones meme. One does not simply take that left-hand shot. Right. And it is it put down Strickland. And one final thing, I actually did see the kickboxing fight, not just the finish of Izzy versus Pereira. I believe it was the second fight, Izzy was getting him. Izzy was leading that dance, and he was actually doing very well. I had him winning that fight, and then look, it is what it is. He zigged instead of zag, and kaboom, it happens. But yeah, I think it makes it for very interesting. But I also think Izzy, when I saw that fight, he has every right to be confident in his abilities against Pereira, and I think it's just next man up mentality. That's why Pereira, 3 fights in, he's also another guy like Jiri, faster than Hamzat to get to a title shot. What does that tell you?
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, we all thought Hamza would have got one by now, but
Yes.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But it was for the one thing on Pereira made me laugh because after watching his post fight interview, my first thought was, man, that's Brazilian Drago. That dude don't give you nothing. He's just like very to the point. So that I think you're right. It's gonna play into the promotion's hands as far as promoting him. But yeah, the lack of being able to talk, it's kind of rough. Got a couple
He
comments
makes it
here.
work. Hey, don't say a lot of you don't have to. It makes you more badass, I think, that he says less, to be honest.
Yeah, right. And no emotions, nothing. He like cracked a smile for like a quarter of a second at one point, and that was about it.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. Super T says Booger sent me. Appreciate you, Booger Beard. Tweeted us out. Booger sent me too. He said there would be Kool-Aid and turkey ham sandwiches. That's like what was that name of that? Wedding Crashers. That's Will Ferrell screaming out, "Mom, the meatloaf!" There you go. Start yelling. And then Connor's left could have took him so much further at 145. Yeah, but that 145 is a mother of a cut. You can ask Max Holloway, who I should talk about now. Co-main event, Alexander Volkanovski against Max Holloway. A lot of people thought. Now, first of all, me personally, I don't really doubt fighters. Like on Twitter, I'm like, no, Holloway's got it. I'm a Holloway fan, so I was rooting for him. But a lot of people were saying like everyone's doubting Volkanovski, no one's giving him his credit. Well, he damn sure earned it, putting on a pretty dominant decision win over Max Holloway. Gabriel, what was the feel like in the arena as far as the fight goes, but also like the win, like just going off of that, people doubting Volkanovski and all that after the fight finished?
It was very clear it was a Max crowd. I think Max is just Max, and I know Anthony Smith, he said it, and I thought he put it very well. He does a great job of making every crowd, even when he's away from Hawaii, feel like they're his people.
Right.
Like every city is another island, and he really leans into that, and it works for him. That being said, the crowd clearly knew what they were watching, and as it went on, it was kind of just like, tip the cap to Alex. It was just really, really amazing, and there were no people sad about Max losing. I think it was just a little more disbelief, but then more appreciation for just how good Alex was at the end of that.
There you go. And as far as Holloway goes, Alex, like watching the fight, I was like, okay, he had a crappy, few seconds there. He's gonna bring it on. He never really turned it on. Did you think it was Volkanovski's dominance, or was it Holloway just lost a step?
I don't know. I think it's just Alexander Volkanovski is that fucking good, to be honest with you, bro. He's on another level. And I think Alexander Volkanovski did his homework, and Max Holloway did not do his homework. And I think he just kind of went in. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but like I think Max Holloway went into this fight as if it was like a 1 week after their second fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. It's round 15? Yeah. Round 15. And Alexander Volkanovski obviously did his homework and whooped his ass. It was interesting. Max sold the fight. He sold it throughout fight week. It was a little, Max is always kind of fiery, but I think this week it was a little bit more fiery. I don't know if he was like trying to pump himself up or maybe trying to get in the head. It was interesting that Volkanovski finally revealed that that second fight that USADA had woke him up like really early before fight day, and that kind of screwed with him.
Yeah.
So who knows if that really affected his performance, but fucking probably, because man, Volkanovski's so good. He's so good. And my biggest thing was like, he either needs to go out there, stop Max, or go out there and make it look easy. and he went out there, made it look easy, no questions asked, put a stamp on the trilogy, no more questions asked.
Holloway fans can be mad about it all they want to, but they got to tip the cap to that dude. He went in. All right, now what's next for both guys? For Holloway, which is funny because I almost feel like the same things for next for both guys. For Holloway, I think 145 is kind of done. You lost to the champion 3 times now. You're not going to get in a title shot anytime soon. Do you want to stick around and be a gatekeeper, or do you want to try and move it to 155? Maybe take a. I think Alex, you're the one that said it. Take some time off to bulk up to 55. So we'll start with Alex. Then, do you think that's the move for Holloway? Just go 55 and see what you can do.
I think so. I've been saying that for a minute now. People say, like he's not going to have enough power up there. I mean, he didn't have enough power at 145. So what the fuck the difference?
Right.
I think if he took a year off, bulked up, actually had to cut to make 155, I think he could, make a mainstay up there. But the problem is if Volkanovski goes up there, then we run into it. It's just like, what does he want to do? Like, how much? I mean, it's crazy. He's only 30 years old. Like, that's what's like, obviously he's 30 years old, but he's not 30 years old in 5 years. He's probably 50, 52 in 5 years. So it's really just like, what does he want to do? Does he want to just take big fights? Does he want to take money fights? Does he want to take legacy fights? Does he want to, what's he want to do? Does he want to go after the belt? Because if he does, he's not getting it at 145 as long as Volk's there, right? So, the ball's in his court. Like, what does he really want to do?
Gotcha. Gabriel, what would you do? You're Max Holloway.
Wait a minute, because I think for one, we don't know that Alex is actually going to get that immediate title shot at 55. Personally, I think that you probably favor Alex to hold on to the belt at 45. You could cash in on what I think should have always been the fight is Charles versus Islam at 55. Whoever comes out of that, Alex can take on at that time. Mm-hmm. If he wants to wait, that's cool. I think he's earned it. If he wants to fight a Josh Emmett, if he wants to see if Yair beats Brian next week and then fight him before 55, let's be honest. I think everyone favors Alex to beat either of those guys, all three, Brian, Yair, Josh, especially coming off Saturday. So I think that for Max, look, if Alex is going to be a minute and he fights Yair, maybe you want Josh Emmett. Maybe you want to set it up so whatever holds up Alex at 55, you could stay and you could just keep doing what you do at 45, which is your best weight class anyway. Now, are there options at 55 for Max? Yeah. I mean, the Conor McGregor fight, I do think that Max at this point is still ahead of Conor at this stage of the game, but I think that's still a very sellable fight, especially if we don't know what's going on with this Nate Diaz and all this, whatever could be back for Conor, Tony, Chandler, everyone they're throwing out. So I do think there's options at 55, but I think we learned that he's a 45er. And I think that until he knows that he's going to be locked out of something, just stay at 45. There's still some fights there you could take. And then whatever happens with Alex, that'll let you make the best move for you to allow you to be opportunistic.
There you go. Ronnie makes a good point here. What's up, dude? He says Holloway's biggest issue at 55, besides his power, is his reach. His arms are really short for his height. And Volkanovski's he probably reach his heels standing straight up. That dude's arms are long. So, there you go. And then he has to
remember Max's shoulders. Like, you look at his back, it's just not as broad as a Dustin when he moved up.
Right. That's a good point, yeah. And then he asked, did Zabit retire? He did. And from his Instagram posts, he's now becoming a doctor. So, good for him. Bruce says, Josh should realize he isn't getting a title shot because he has zero personality, and his last fight was a lame controversial decision. He has zero fan base behind him. Very quickly, because Gabriel, you immediately told us about it, and I was waiting for the video to pop up, and then when it did, I was just like, oh, you're right. It's mad. Apparently, the UFC flew out Josh Emmett, and then that's it. Kind of didn't give him any treatment, didn't put him a cage set for the fight. Did you think it was on purpose, or was it more like just like oops, we messed up?
Okay, every indication I've been given was that there were so many moving parts, and I don't think that's necessarily just on like, there's two people who are in charge of everyone's Excel spreadsheet of everyone's schedule. I think that it was a little bit of the logistics. That being said, I think that if they were locked into Josh being next, for sure he would have had a bigger presence in terms of UFC media. That being said, I said it is that yes, Josh is putting in work. Not all of them have been blowouts, and he hasn't, metaphorically thrown that gauntlet at Alex's feet, spit on it, and said, "Let's do this." He hasn't had that kind of performance over a big name guy. Sometimes it's hard to get those. Not every challenger did before they became a champion. That being said, that you got a big name in Yair, who if he beats Brian Ortega, quite bluntly, that is bigger for Alex Volkanovski. And then setting it up, Josh versus Max, or okay, Alex moves up, Josh versus Yair. But I will say it does feel like he is the second man in line, not first, in the whole pursuit of that 45 title to Yair.
Yeah, no, for sure it is, and I fucking hate it because I think all right. It's like Josh is 37 years old, right? So and he's on this 5-fight win streak. He's busted his ass. He's before the Shane Burgos fight, he asked the UFC I don't want to fight anyone but behind me because I want to get this last shot. Or I want this last run for the title. He ended up fighting Burgos that was behind him, and then he ended up fighting Dan Ige that was behind him. So he's always done what the UFC's asked, and he went out there, won those fights, had a gnarly knee surgeries that could have just derailed his entire career. So it's I think just that itself, and he's on a five-fight win streak. I think that should be enough for the title shot. Yeah, it's not going to sell 1 million pay-per-views. Yeah, it's not going to sell 400,000 pay-per-views, but at least give him his shot. One shot. Fucking, you gave it to Jared Cannonier, who's 37 years old. It's same shit. Of course, Yair Rodriguez and Volkanovski are going to sell more. It's the more intriguing matchup, but it's I don't know. I feel like Josh is getting fucked, and I do feel bad for him. And I feel like there's a legit case. Yeah, you could fucking argue all day that Calvin Kattar beat him, or who gives a fuck? Josh won. If you go on Wikipedia, Josh won. And then that's all that counts, bro. That's a win's a win.
Hey, but then are we disrespecting Arnold Allen 9-fight win streak? I will. Okay, 9 fights in, I believe someone put the stat 7 years. He's just had a lot of layoffs, and it's 45 is a weird one, and I think that's to Arnold's point. It's just the lack of activity has kept him from getting that hype despite the number. And then you go back to it with Josh. I completely get what you're saying, but we know how this business works too. Which goes back to it. Wait for it. If Brian goes out there, guillotines Yair Rodriguez, Josh will be sitting pretty for that 45 title shot. And also, you got to think he might be getting it against Arnold Allen, not Max, because really, I think the last thing the UFC wants to do, particularly despite how good he is Max is down 0-3, and he's about to fight for an interim title who would fight Volkanovski when he gets back, whenever he does.
Right.
So it's Josh, you're looking at Yair, Arnold, most likely, or you might end up getting Alex straight up. Just wait 2 weeks and have some pizza and go for it.
It's
or whatever they eat over in Sacramento.
It's kind of like the Marina Rodriguez, Weili Zhang thing right now, right? It's exactly what it is. Josh is Marina Rodriguez, where it's they should get they should get the shot just off merit, but Yair's sellable, Weili's sellable. Just give it to him, So it's just
yeah. Yep. This is when Josh Emmett should start talking some shit, I think, but it's not his nature, so we'll see. And very quickly, just a yay or nay. Possible, and I just saw it on an internet. They met each other in the backstage and all that. They talked, and they were like, "Let's see what we can make it happen." Now, the fighters try to make their own matchups. It usually never happens, but
yay.
Yay! You want to see Henry?
Yay. I'm down, bro. I'm down.
Henry Cejudo?
The time was in April. If they didn't make it in April, they aren't going to make it now. I think that I think that everything about how that played out for Henry, and I'm not gonna just harp on it. I've talked about it before. He botched it, and I think the UFC is like, you know what? You got to play our game first. You know, I think that there are fighters who the UFC sees, like, hey, we can sell a lot of pay-per-views with you. I think that, respectfully to Henry, not every fighter gets that top of the marquee, pull the numbers even when you're winning. DC didn't really have it for a long time despite winning. A couple of these guys, I'd say Kamaru Usman struggled to get it when he wasn't with Jorge and Colby. So I think that I get it. In the cage, it would certainly be fun. I would certainly appreciate Henry's talk more if he actually booked the fight, but I think every indication we've gotten is that that is not their plan.
Yeah,
they will give it to someone coming off a loss before they give it to Henry.
I would just like to see it. I don't know. It is what it is.
It'll be great TV.
100%. We got a few minutes left. Very quickly on a couple fights here. Brian Barberena getting the knockout or TKO win over Robbie Lawler. Did either one of you think he was going to retire? Because I was like, man, we already had 2 tonight. Don't be doing this shit right now, Robbie. Don't do that.
No, I didn't think so. I think that Robbie that's not his vibe. I think he would.
Yeah.
I'll just say it. He will tell you when he's done. He would be like, he'll tweet on Saturday, guys, this is my last ride. I'll see you on the other side. But I don't think he would have done it spontaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so too. Plus, he was looking really, really good.
He looked really good.
Very, very good. And I don't know if he gassed or Brian just kind of hurt him and he never got his wits back. But yeah, I mean, he looked really good. And Brian Barberena in his last 2 fights beat Matt Brown and beat Robbie Lawler, man. So a big fight's coming his way.
Gotcha. Enzo says Robbie looked good. I could see him fight a couple lanes before retirement. Me too. And honestly he should. All right, and then a couple more fights to talk about before we get out of here. This has got everybody riled the hell up. Whether you believe the eye was poked or punched or whatever, Pedro could not see out that eye, and the fight was called a no contest due to unintentional eye poke. It wasn't until the post-fight interview where Sean O'Malley started saying he was looking for a way out. They set him up. They said he was looking for a way out. Fans, I don't know who asked the question, but fans are saying he's looking for a way out. Gabriel, you were in there. What was the feel like? What was your feel when you heard him say, "Yeah, 100% was looking for a way out"?
I mean, we got more of O'Malley's vibe in the post-fight, to be honest. Yeah. But I mean, to me, I saw that and I was like, you know what? I think Pedro made the decision. He does not want to be Michael Bisping in a while. He's not gonna, could he finish the fight? Yes. Is his eye honestly injured? Yes. You kind of got to make some choices in there. And I do think that it was just like, look, the fact is, I could lie and say no, or I could be honest and say, look, I'm down in a fight and I honestly can't see out of it. And 5 minutes or so isn't going to bring it back to 100%. And then I got to finish this fight. So I think that's what it came down to. I don't think, I think Pedro honestly couldn't see out of the eye. And I also think that, could he have finished the fight? Yes, that's not the point. Right. Obviously you could lie and say, yeah, I could see when it's like, well, I know there's 2 fingers there, but one's open, one's squinting.
Right.
I think it's offensive that fans were saying that he was looking for a way out, just because, like, dude, look at his fucking resume.
Exactly.
Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Frankie Yeager, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Garbrandt, John Dodson, Brett John, Rob Font. He's fought the who's who. But Sean O'Malley has a voice. He has his fans. Once he says something, he has a rabid fan base it'll get this narrative going. At first I was like, it just didn't look like that big of a eye poke, right? But then these videos were coming out that it was a punch, and there's this little evidence, but there's not anything that's you're certain, right? Now, if it was a punch, a knuckle in the eye, and then it was a little tap on the eye, I could see some damage. But Pedro looking for a way out. Fuck no. It's unfortunate because this was Sean's next step up, and it ended like this, right? So now the Sean O'Malley haters are going to be like, oh, well, you had your step up and now you and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of unfortunate on all sides.
Yeah, you can see it.
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I do think, though, that Sean O'Malley was on his way. Not a finish, but probably still a decision. And I think that whatever fight he was going to get next, he still gets, whether that be Peter, whether it be Adrian. For the record, I don't think he'll get Adrian. I think that they're making that like Adesanya and Costa. If they fight, it's going to be when the belt's on the line finally.
Gotcha.
That being said, I would have told you like about a month ago, he would have had a lot more options because everyone was still in the air. Now everyone's Song, Corey, Cruz, Chito, everyone's booked except Peter Yan. So maybe that is our sign, but is what it is.
Gotcha. Couple comments real quick on this one. O'Malley overrated. 1-1 and 1-0 contest against people currently in the UFC. Yeah, this is a good point. But we'll see if he ever gets, whether he gets a Pedro rematch or whoever else. We'll see what he got. And then Pedro not the one to look for a way out. We all know it. Because Pedro won the first round. Yeah, 2 judges gave him the first round. And when they told O'Malley almost like looked like he was gonna get choked up, like upset. So yeah, we'll see. But you're right. He's good at riling up his own supporters to have his back. All right, and then just one more fight. The fight that I want to talk about. Jaylen Turner, dude. How nutty was that? He forced ABC to fill 20 minutes of dead air. That's how good that was. That was wild. So starting here with Gabriel. What do you think of the tarantula now?
You know what? Jaylen is just such a cool guy. I've gotten to talk with him outside of the MMA, environment. I talked to him when I was invited to the set of a movie he was working on with a couple of MMA fighters. Such a chill guy, and I think that he's kind of come into his own now. He had a debut, and now I think he's just figured it out. And I always say this, him at lightweight, I don't know how he makes it. Part of me does expect him to move up one day, but for now, he just provides so many problems with that physicality and with his skills that it's just, honestly, I thought he would get Brad either way, but it was nice to see him get it as definitively as he did.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, no, he's the man. He's dangerous. The UFC, I think the UFC knows what they got in him because they're putting him on pay-per-views for a reason. He's got 100% finish rate. Only thing I wish he would bring the trash talk up a little bit, or just maybe not even trash talk, just bring up like who he wants next, because those last 2 fights I've had Gabriel kind of fish for a next opponent. So other than that, man, but then on the flip side, like, he's very humble. He knows that he's good, right? Like he knows that he's good, and but he doesn't have to like come out and say like, come out and say it. I guess if that makes any sense. So yeah, he's kind of like just like a silent kill. I was gonna bring like
assassin.
I was gonna bring like a Spider-Man, like a spider pun. He's like a silent.
It's like that Black Widow you don't see coming and it bites you.
There you go. Yeah,
I like Turner's humbleness, but I'm with you. I wish he would have named an opponent. He did say that he'll start doing that once he hits top 5. I think once he hits like top 8, he'll have to start calling somebody out, because no one's signing that. No one's calling Dana White going, yeah, give me the lanky Turner guy. Because that was a scary guy to fight.
I just want to see him mess with someone with the spider. I just want to see him leave it by the scale and weigh in something and just
That'd be wild.
See what people do. Put like a little leash. I think you could put a leash on a spider. The tarantula is big enough, just someone mess with them.
Scare the crap out of everybody. All right, and AJ is asking, Jaylen Turner with Dan Hooker. Hooker went back to 45.
Leave Dan Hooker alone.
Hooker's on the too much downswing. Jalen's too much upswing.
Yeah.
Sorry, AJ.
But Hooker went back down to 45 anyways. It's all right.
He's not staying there. That was a one-off that he knew was a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, fair enough. And then Enzo, real quick question for Alex. How was Alex's experience asking questions at the press conference? It was cool to see him up there. Because people were screenshotting that shit, boy, and putting it all over Twitter.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. It was cool. Like the UFC, or like Gabriel said, the UFC asked, want us to go out there, give them some PR. So it was cool. It was actually my first press conference that I've got a question in, just because it's always packed and you only have a limited time. So it was cool. I did not have any water with me, so my throat was starting to like. So I was like, oh my god! So I was getting very nervous. I'm like, fuck.
Oh no.
So I was like trying to make my mouth all like spit, kind of like, give me some like some moisturizers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
but it was cool, man. It was cool, and I'm just very very grateful that the fans were happy that I got up there and sending screenshots and cool. It's cool.
There you go. All right. This weekend, UFC back in the Apex, right? Yeah, it's back in the Apex. Rafael dos Anjos against Rafael Fiziev. Very quickly, your pick on the main event. Let's go with Alex.
I got Rafael.
Yeah, go Rafael. Yeah, Rafael's gonna win, of course.
Rafael, for sure.
You go.
Easy. First round, Rafael.
That's all we gotta do. All right. So Rafael will win this weekend, guaranteed. How would we say? Oh, real quick. Bruce. Bruce comes on Keyboard Warriors.
No, don't even put it on the screen.
You don't want to?
She's a nice girl, and she's had injuries and bad luck. Let it go, Bruce. Shame on you.
I did want to say before that, I hear Don Cerrone retired.
Sorry, I forgot to bring that up.
He's the man. He's a legend. He was, one of the. I don't know if we'd have to kind of go back, but he was like one of the first guys that like, I'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
Short notice. Bring me in.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a legend. I will always be a fan of Cowboy Cerrone, man. So many memories. I did want to ask you guys, what's your favorite? I guess your favorite moment of Cowboy, your favorite fight, favorite knockout. Like, what is it?
Ooh, real quick, favorite moment on Cowboy. Who was it that was on their back and he like angry kicked the shit out of their legs? Like he was winding up like it was a baseball swing. I forgot who he was fighting, but that to me, I was like, the first one I was like, oh, that sucks. The second one I was literally doing like, oh, dude, stop. Like it was just nutty. I forgot what it was, but that's probably the one off the top of my head that I could think of.
The Rick Story finish is always pretty good. That was such a good clip. Yeah, chef's kiss for sure. You know what? I feel like, honestly, I remember when he went at it with Benson Henderson. He didn't even win, but I remember it's like he'd been doing his thing, but then that, he showed up for both, that broke out both him and Benson. And really, they both went on to have these great careers. So it's like, I always remember that guy. I think my biggest thing is they don't make him like Cowboy anymore. What else can I say? They just don't make it. There's a lot of athletes fighting, but the love of the game, fighters, there's just a couple less of them anymore.
Yeah, he's the last of a dying breed, man. And I love that he went out on his own terms and he was honest. He said, I don't love it anymore. And, and fucking props for that. I too love the Rick Story finish, but a more recent kind of one was when he humbled Alexander Hernandez.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That was dope. Bruce, dude, save all of that for Keyboard Warriors on Wednesday night. I promise Fred will give you the insight on exactly how that should go. I promise you. Bring that shit back on Wednesday, all right? All right, boys. That's going to do it for us tonight. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. Shout out to also to Jessica I retiring in the cage after fighting Macy Barber. And for all the trolling she gets from fight fans, she was never a bad person. People just didn't like her for whatever reason. But I thought she did it. She did well. She did it right. Now she can go see what else she's got going on. All right. Well, anything else you guys want to throw out there before we get out of here?
I want to say thank you. Obviously, you, Alex, Jay. This week, I did Abu Dhabi Fight Island. This is easily the longest days I've had doing anything. Just the way they scheduled it, the way they ran it for us, and I got a lot of video content out. It would not have had its 24-hour cycle without you and Jay, Eddie at home. Alex allowed us to be in two places at once with both press conference and weigh-ins. And so I just really want to shout out you guys. It was really a collaborative effort to get everything out this time. And I know we had network issues and a lot going on Saturday, and we just kind of found a way to get it done. And I just want to tell you guys how much I appreciate the team. And, we all kind of take turns being the one driving the car. And I'm just aware that you guys were the ones running GPS while I had the gas. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys. For anyone who doesn't know, subscribe to Cageside Press because we do have stuff from everything, everywhere. I have so much UFC X stuff on there. There's like 20-some videos with Blachowicz, Joanna, Rebus, McKenzie, Chiesa, Jeff Nowitzki, Mark Ratner. I mean, there's so much stuff to keep you occupied. We're there at Bellator stuff to get it for you, PFL to get it for you, One Championship to get it for you. So honestly, like, we have plenty of stuff for you guys from all around. And I know we're not one of the big dogs, but I promise you, we bring stuff for everything going on every week if we can. So we have it.
There you go. And you did a great job, dude. We appreciate you going down there and handling all that. And Alex, appreciate you going down there too. But like you said, cagepress.com for everything. We have UFC X stuff coming out all week coming up. There's literally a serious amount of content that is up on the YouTube right now. Make sure you hit subscribe. After this show's over, hit Cageside Press. And there's a whole lot to watch. So sit down, grab a beer, whatever you're going to do, and check us out. But plenty of stuff coming out this week from UFC X, Instagram, Twitter, everything. A lot of content leading up to this weekend's card as well. All right, you can follow Alex at Alex Behunin on Twitter. He's the one with the check mark. And for all the trolls, and Gabriel at WG on TV. We'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy yourselves this week. Have a safe July 4th. Keep it chill. And we will catch you guys on the next one.